Hey, Michael Hyatt here. Welcome back to this special video series, the Stay on Track Goal Tracking System, our new 3-part mini course to keep you focused all year long. In this final installment, I'll take you behind the scenes of my own personal goal tracking system. I'll give you a click-by-click demo of the tools I use, and I'll explain my routine for staying connected to my goals year-round. This is a process I've honed over years of pursuing big, meaningful goals, and it's enabled me to achieve incredible results. I hope it'll do the same for you. So let's get started. Before I dive into my personal goal tracking system, I want to say a word about tools. I'm kind of agnostic when it comes to tools. I really don't care what you use. Use something that works for you. I'm going to share my system with you, which you can completely adopt as your own. You can adapt it, or you can create your own custom solution. You can even create an analog solution using a paper journal. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you have a system that you'll use on a regular basis. Now, with my system, there are 3 components, and the first of which is Evernote. If you followed me for any length of time, you know I love Evernote. I use it for all kinds of things, and not the least of which is a way to keep an overview of my goals visible so that I don't lose track of them. So here's what I do. I create one note, and in that, I put all my goals. Now, I've created more elaborate systems, a complete goal tracking system in Evernote. You may have access to that bonus where I describe it, and that's a perfectly legit way to do it, but that's not how I'm currently doing it. I'm only using Evernote to keep a summary of my goals. So it's very simple. I've got 8 goals for 2016. One of them so far I didn't accomplish. I didn't put Living Forward on the New York Times bestsellers list by March the 31st. I got close. It got on the USA Today bestsellers list, the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list, and the Publishers Weekly bestseller list, but we failed to get it on the New York Times bestsellers list. So I simply highlighted that goal, and I right-clicked on it, and I did strike through, and I struck that through to indicate that I didn't achieve it. And by the way, I don't obsess about that. That's okay. It's natural that if you're pursuing big goals, that you're not going to accomplish all of them, and you got to get okay with that if you're going to be a high achiever. But I did accomplish these other 2 goals, and I've checked those off, and that felt great. So currently, I have 5 goals that I'm focused on to get finished by the end of the year. Now, one of the ways that I use this is I review this list at the beginning of each day as part of my morning routine. It takes about 60 seconds. Don't do a deep dive on this. You just want to do a quick review, and you want to ask yourself this question. Is there anything related to any of these goals that are not yet completed that I can do today? Is there a next action that I could take today that would move the ball down the field in the direction of the goal line? Okay? So don't overthink this. Again, it ought to take about 60 seconds, but you need to do this on a regular basis, and I suggest daily. One of the things I also do to make this easy is I click and drag that particular note into this shortcut sidebar so that I get a nice shortcut. I won't release this because it'll give me 2 entries there. But that way, no matter what I'm working on, I can simply click on that shortcut and boom, I've instantly got my goals, and it becomes very easy to review. The second component in my goal tracking system is NOSBI. That's the task management program that I use and love. I've used this for almost a decade. It doesn't really matter what you use, so long as your task manager will accommodate projects or collections of tasks that you can group together. Todoist works, OmniFocus works, Things, Asana, any of those will work. Most project management systems will work. This is my today page that you're looking at right here, and you can see that I've done my morning ritual, I did my workday startup ritual, and now I'm working on this particular task, which is to record the Stay on Track bonus for video 3, and I can't wait to get done because I can check it off. But the magic with regard to goal setting happens here in projects. And you can see here that I've got a list, a gazillion projects that I currently have active. And in case you're wondering, we do this 3-letter prefix for a lot of our projects, not only here in NOSBI, but also in Slack and in Google Drive. We do this to keep like projects together. So here are all the books that we're working on. Here are courses, events, and so forth. Okay? But the magic happens up here at the top. So this is where I have my goals. And you know that I already crossed off 3 of these, so that's not why they're showing. Those have been completed. And Nosby, like most task managers, allows you to complete not only individual tasks, but also the complete project. And I've completed those projects so they're not visible anymore and taking up space in my brain. So here's a project, weight loss. I don't have any active tasks for this. And by the way, I just want to say, I don't have these long lists of tasks typically in my project management or task management system. And I highly recommend against doing that. If you set your goal someplace in the discomfort zone, it's going to mean by necessity, by definition, that you're not exactly clear on how to get from where you are to where you want to be. All you have to see is the next steps. This is one of the ways that people get so overwhelmed in the pursuit of big goals is they start mapping out every single task that they think that they need to do, and it overwhelms them. They don't know where to start. So what I'm going to suggest is you just enter tasks under each goal as they occur to you. So for example, read books. One of my goals was to read 26 books by December 31st, and I've read 22 so far. I've got 4 left. You can see the completed ones that are down here. Okay. But up here, I've got 4 left, and that's all I've got in that project. That's one where I am thinking ahead because I know those are the next 4 books that I want to read. Corporate growth. Meet with the executive team to review the November results, which we'll be doing in a few days. Meet with the executive team to review December results, and meet with the entire team to review the Q4 results. So I don't have, again, a lot of tasks here. I don't want you to overly complicate it because if you do this, it's going to lead to procrastination and a sense of overwhelm. Now, another cool thing with Nosby is that I'm able to put in this description field a full statement of the goal and then a list. This is pretty cool. My key motivations. And so I review these on a weekly basis. Okay, so I don't do this every day. Every day I'm reviewing just the list and I'm asking myself what the next action is. But on a weekly basis, I'm reviewing my key motivations because I want to stay connected to those motivations. What's at stake, both positively and negatively? What is my why? Why am I pursuing this goal? When you lose your why, you lose your way, as my wife often reminds me. So here I've got these very visible to me. When you complete the project, you can click down here and get it out of Nosby so that you're not considering it anymore. So that's pretty simple. Another thing I will say too is when I'm creating these projects, one of the things I do is that you can add a label to it. So in this case, I add 2016_goals. And then I can sort, if I just want to focus on certain kinds of projects, then I can click on this tag and I can select goals. And now I'm not viewing any of the other particular projects that are on my Nosby list. So again, that's the second component. I think it's a pretty slick way to do it. Again, you can do it with almost any task management system that will accommodate projects. You might have to play around with it a little bit, but this is how I do it in Nosby. The third and final component of my personal goal tracking system is an iOS app called Habit List. And as far as I know, it's only available on iOS devices, but there's probably something comparable for Android or Windows phones. This is so important to me that I keep it on my taskbar at the bottom of my iPhone screen so that I can just tap on it and get my list of habits for today. Now, I want to say a couple of words about habits. First of all, you can have goals that are either attainment or outcome-based goals, and that's what the 8 I shared with you previously on my own list are. Those are attainment-based goals. They have an endpoint at which you either accomplish them or don't accomplish them. Or you could have a habit goal that has a start date and you're going to continue for a set number of days. Sort of the popular myth is that you can install a habit in 21 days. All the research I've read says that on average it takes 66 days. But the important thing is that you can have ultimately a habit goal that might be different than an outcome-based goal. In other words, you might want to state your goal as a habit goal, or you could use habits as I'm doing in the service of my attainment-based goals. So let me give you an example. One of my goals, as I mentioned to you earlier, was to reduce my weight to 180 pounds by December the 31st. I have 2 habits that I'm using in the pursuit of that goal. One is to drink 8 glasses of water a day, and another one, which I have to show you here because I only do this once a week, is to weigh myself. Okay? So those 2 habits are in the service of that attainment-based goal to reduce my weight by 180 pounds by December the 31st. Read 30 minutes. That's a habit in the service of my goal, read 26 books by December the 31st. Does that make sense? Okay, let me show you one of the things I love about habit lists. First of all, if you forget to check something off your habit list, which I did yesterday, I can simply tap on it, click that, and I'm good to go. So it enables me to catch up. Another thing I like, let's say that reading 30 minutes, and this is what happened to me, I can skip it, or I can miss it, or I can complete it. Let's say you're on vacation and you don't want to do that habit while you're on vacation. You can skip it and it's okay. It won't influence what Habit List calls your streak. Now, this is a cool concept. This is sometimes called the Seinfeld method, but supposedly Jerry Seinfeld had this project at one time where he was going to write a joke every day, and his goal was to not break the chain or to break the streak. Well, a habit list works on that same basic idea. And you can see here, for example, that I've got a streak of 4 days going with drink 8 glasses of water. Actually, not very good. Or a streak of 2 days going, read 30 minutes a day. So I've still got some work to do. Those habits are not yet installed. One of the things I love about this too, though, is that when you're configuring a new habit, you can set the frequency. Now, this is the only habit manager I know of. There probably are some out there, but I'm not familiar with them, that allows you to really customize the frequency. So for example, I could say that I want this particular habit to only be something that I'm going to do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or maybe it's something I only want to do on the weekdays. Or maybe it's something I just want to do on the weekends. Or maybe I don't want to do any of that. I want to do this every day. Or I want to do this 1 day per week, and it doesn't matter which day of the week it is. So it gives you the ability to configure this like you want it. Now, it's also got reminders. You can remind yourself of the time of day that you want to do it. I personally don't like reminders. I find them distracting, but your mileage may vary. It may work for you, and you may be something you want to use, and feel free to. Again, this is something you need to create that works for you. So Habit List is a program that works for me. It's something you might want to give a try. I find it to be invaluable in tracking my habits. Hey, thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this inside look at my personal goal tracking system. I want you to know that you have my full and free permission to duplicate this exact system to help you win with your own goals. Or you can use it as a jumping off point to create your own customized solution. Whichever path you choose, the bottom line is that a goal tracking system is vital to your success. It'll give you the visibility into your greatest priorities, help you track your performance, and it'll remind you to celebrate your wins. And most importantly, a goal tracking system will empower you to zero in on the next step you can take each week to make incremental progress towards your goals. And it's that incremental progress that adds up to a big win at year's end. I can't wait to see what each of you accomplish. So here's to you and your best year ever.